Hey there, smokers. This is kind of a video response to Shadrack's Halloween video last night where he showed off the clove cigar. And then I see also that Silver Shadow made a video response today. And his was titled Clove Cigar, Clove Cigarette. And I thought, looking at the title of the video, that he might have addressed the issue and a little bit of an explanation. But then when I watched the video, I saw that Silver Shadow seemed to be also a little bit curious about the topic and didn't seem to know too much about it himself. So I figured I'd go ahead and throw up a video and kind of throw in my 2 cents on this to maybe throw some light on this. Before I do, I am, first of all, smoking my Philip Rivara. Nice little bent sitter with the lucite bottom. And in it I'm smoking a little bit of early morning pipe. So, as far as the cloves go, I had been a clove cigarette smoker for a number of years. And I actually started pretty early on, my first year of college, in the kind of the coffee house scene, I guess. And similarly to Silver Shadow, I had picked up, this was early 90s, I had picked up from like a little head shop or whatever in Big Rapids, Michigan, where I was going to school in Ferris State University. Picked up some clove cigarettes and also any assortment of kind of weird oddity of cigarettes that they had. They had these little beaties that came in little round paper packs that were the little tiny flavored, rolled in grape leaves with a little string tied around them. I don't know if you guys have seen that kind of thing. I don't think you can get them anymore. But yeah, that's when I started smoking clove cigarettes. And then when I'd moved to Florida, and when I first picked up a pipe, having been introduced to that by one Mr. Redneck Professor, I still smoked the cloves occasionally, but it was not nearly as much. You know, I was focused more on the hobby of the briar, and had done that for a number of years. And then when I kind of lost contact with the group of guys that I was smoking a pipe with, and had then kind of ramped up my clove smoking again, and then started driving a truck and going out on the road. I was smoking clove cigarettes, I think more just for convenience than anything, over a pipe. My pipes I got put away, and they were in boxes and in storage, and I all but forgot about them. But the cloves, I started smoking those things. I mean, it was like regular cigarettes. I was smoking those like a pack a day. And for anybody that has any history with cloves or experience with cloves knows that, you know, they taste real good, and they're yummy, but they do a number on you. They say smoking a clove cigarette is like smoking 5 regular cigarettes, as far as how it affects your lungs and whatever. And they did a bit of a number on me. But I smoked a brand, Sempornas. Now, cloves, you have to understand also, they're imported from Indonesia. and they're huge in Indonesia. Apparently, the smoking population in Indonesia, better than 90 or 95%, something like that. They all smoke the clove cigarettes. They call them kretiks or kretiks, or I'm not sure the pronunciation on that, but that's what they smoke rather than the regular cigarettes that you and I know. So I smoked these Sempornas, and they had a line that they called the Semporna Extras, and these were black cigarettes. They were in black paper. They were a little bit hardier and a little more of a full flavor cigarette. And I guess due to their popularity, Dejarum decided, well, we're not going to let these guys be the only kid on the block with the black cigarettes. So Dejarum, in response to the Semporna Extras, they created the Dejarum Black. And Dejarum, though they are not as big in Indonesia. I guess in Indonesia the Semporna is kind of the top dog, but over here in the States, Dejarum was the big name. You talk about clove cigarettes, everybody knows Dejarum. Not as many people know Semporna. So Dejarum made the Dejarum Blacks. Well, I found with the Sempornas, there was also another one, the Semporna Exclusives. I found those, and I fell in love with those. They were much smoother, milder, sweeter, just a great tasting clove cigarette. And that's what I smoked for a number of years. Until in 2005, Semporna was bought out by Philip Morris, and I guess what I found out is that Philip Morris, they just as a big business decision figured, and this is Philip Morris International, and they were they had taken over the clove business for Semporna in Indonesia, and I guess they just decided it wasn't, since there wasn't as big of a demand in the States, they just decided not to import them into the United States anymore. And Semporna just went away. About damn near crushed me. I was scrounging up at any chance I found that I could find these things, and this was, you know, driving a truck. There's only certain places you can get to where you can't just go into the truck stop and go pick up a pack of clove cigarettes. I mean, you know, when they were available, they were only available in certain smoke shops or head shops or whatever. You'd have to go to like specialty shops to get them. So I had strategically mapped out across the United States all the spots where I knew certain runs that I took, certain places that I could get to with a truck to be able to get these stinking cigarettes. And they weren't cheap. They were going for $6 or so a pack. So so I found the places where I could still get the Sempornas before they disappeared. I snatched up every bit of them that I could, and I was buying them by the when they were readily available. I'd just buy a couple few packs at a time, but I was buying, by the carton if I could. And that's $6 a pack. It ain't cheap to buy a carton of those things. So I was snatching up the Sempornas as much as I could until they were then no longer available. Thank you, Philip Morris. Then DeJarnum is now the only kid on the block. And this was until 2009. In September of 2009, our lovely president signed into effect the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act. Now, you fellow smokers are probably aware of this. It was also referred to as the Tobacco Act. It was also referred to very lovingly as the Marlboro Monopoly Act. And the reason is, for those of you that aren't aware of the Tobacco Act, the purpose of this was to try to keep cigarettes from being as attractive to the younger people. And there were certain provisions in the act as far as advertisement goes, and like you couldn't have a tobacco advertisement within a certain distance of a school. Also, labeling on the cigarettes, the warning labels had to be changed and increased and much more prominent. You couldn't have, for anybody that maybe was wondering, well, what happened to Marlboro Lights? Couldn't have any cigarettes anymore with the name light or mild or anything that gave any kind of indicator that it was a little bit of a healthier cigarette or a little less harmful to you. So that was done away with. And the biggest thing was it did away with all flavored cigarettes. Not only things like, vanilla cigarettes or peach or, whatever kind of sugary candy bullshit stuff, but it also did away with clove cigarettes. Clove cigarettes, gone. No more. Couldn't have it. It didn't, however, get rid of menthol cigarettes. I guess as far as big tobacco business, that would have been too big of a hit. So no, they kept the menthol cigarettes, but not the clove cigarettes. They didn't want it to be attractive to the kids, but to those of us grown adults who have decided in our lives what we want to do and smoking clove cigarettes, hey, basically, too bad for you. Sorry, Charlie, you're screwed. You can't have your clove cigarettes anymore. It's not healthy for the kids, so you can't have it. So that was September of 2009. Now, at that point, actually, Sister Skipsy and I had, because we were both smoking the clove cigarettes, and she had quit probably 6 months or so before she got pregnant with our first, and that was in 2006. And then when she did get pregnant with Eric, I also quit. And so it didn't affect us as much because we had quit 3 years prior. However, we did like the occasional, whenever we would have a night out, going to a concert, going out to a club, because we like to go to the clubs that are, I guess some people call it the gothic industrial or whatever kind, the weirdo creeps that dress up in black and paint their fingernails black, and the people that were the weirdos before the hipsters and the emo kids and whatever. That's the kind of stuff that those are the kind of clubs that we would go to, and it's in those kind of clubs that clove cigarettes anybody that smokes is smoking a clove, pretty much. They're hugely popular in those clubs. And so anytime that we would go out for a night, we would stop and pick up a pack of clove cigarettes. Even though we didn't smoke them regularly anymore, we would stop and pick those up. So when this hit, that this big ban on clove cigarettes, we again, in an act of desperation, stocked up and got a couple of cartons, and figured at the rate that we smoked them, that would last us for quite a while. And it did. It lasted us for probably a year or better. But Dejarum, of course, wasn't going to go down without a fight. So, in response to the Tobacco Act, at the time that it happened in September, we were anybody who was a regular clove smoker thought, well, this was going to be the end. This is the end of the world as we know it. Little did we know at the time that Dejarum had a little trick up their sleeve, and it was shortly after that they then released the clove cigar. And because it was not labeled as a cigarette and not marketed as a cigarette, it did not fall under the umbrella of that Tobacco Act, which banned flavored cigarettes. And so, as far as a loophole in the law, all they had to do is include some tobacco leaf in the wrapper of the cigarette, and it could then be constituted as a clove cigar and sold as a clove cigar. So as far as over the counter, you can't find clove cigarettes anymore. It's illegal to sell them. From what I understand, you might be able to order them online, but you can't just go into a shop and buy them. Instead, in their stead, you have now what they call clove cigars. And I'll be honest with you, as being a regular avid clove smoker for years and years, the clove cigars just don't hold up, in my opinion. It's a much different taste and a much different flavor. It's not for me. I mean, maybe as every once in a while, like Shadrach said in his video, for those of you guys that want to try something different every once in a while, I mean, it might be alright, but it's not, it's just not the same, Our government came in and said, you just can't have your clove cigarettes anymore, so that's what happened. And so I'm glad I found my pipes again. Started smoking a pipe again. But I see that I've rambled on now for over 18 minutes, and I just meant to kind of try and give a little insight as to clove cigarettes and what happened with that, and a little history on that for anybody that might be interested. Anybody that's hung around now for almost 19 minutes, bless you. But I guess I'll cut it off here then. If you have any more information on it, or if you have any questions about it, send me a message, make a video response, whatever. But I guess until next time, guys, smoke 'em up.